What's up, guys and gals? It's your host with the most, Griever, as always, bringing you guys the next piece of One Piece, chapter 1027. Normally we don't talk about cover pages, but seeing Roger again is always so damn fun. We got Roger, after drawing goofy faces, it's a cover request and stuff. We get Shanks and Buggy running scared in like a tree in Africa sort of idea, and looks like one of those crazy big trees, you know, from the Lion King and stuff, and this giant male lion running at Roger, and Roger laughing his ass off because he took a permanent marker and drew a bunch of funny faces on the lion. So normally I don't talk about the cover pages unless there's something like important, you know, like the Frankie and Senior Pink thing, or this one where we get to see Roger again. That's just a lot of fun. So anyways, moving on to the actual chapter itself. Honestly, some people are probably not going to like parts of this chapter because it seems a little slow now that we're finally back to the fight. We don't really get to see much of said fight. But the end of this chapter definitely brings us a lot of hype that we're probably going to jump away from the Kaido-Luffy chapters for a couple chapters at least, because I think we have another fight that people have been waiting to see, building up for such a long time. And the fight that a lot of people assumed before Wano even started that this was going to be the fight. Before Wano even started, which has been years now, literal years now, we are going to get Zoro versus King. And we're going to see Zoro versus King. Oda's not going to skip it, guys. It's been set up in this chapter. I never thought he would. You know, Jack's been taking this. He's been taking these L's for as long as the character has been incepted. He's never won a fight. He's always been fodder. He is trash. Skipping his fights, who cares? He was never going to win them anyways. So, I'm always good with that. And then, as I said, and now we might have to shortchange the Queen and Sanji fight, depending on the pacing for the rest of this arc. But we're into the final stages of Act 3 for sure. And we're just going to have to wait and see how Oda wants to handle the Queen versus Sanji portion of this. That being said, we see Nekomamushi and everybody in Paris Bearers down for the count and yada yada yada. We see that the skies have split. We see that Yamato and Momonosuke remark. They're both thinking the same thing because they've both apparently read the journal. That this is just like what happened in the journal. The clashes between Whitebeard and Roger. They also split the heavens just like this. And we're seeing that, like, once again, Luffy, Monkey D, Luffy is officially Yonko level. I don't think that's disputed anymore. Was he given the title of Fifth Emperor too quickly? Absolutely. But you could also argue that Blackbeard gained the title of Yonko a little too quickly. Let's be real here. Most people could have taken down, like, I still to this day, I put Blackbeard as the weakest of the Yonko. I think Shanks can take him out, I think Kaido could take him out, and I think Big Mom could take him out, 1v1. He's certainly the weakest of the four current Yonko, so, once again, people saying that he was given the Fifth Emperor title early, sure, but so was Blackbeard, replacing Whitebeard so quickly. So, in my personal opinion, I think that right now, it's almost undisputed. Luffy is officially Yonko level. I don't see any other way. He split the heavens. Has Blackbeard split the heavens? No. No, he has not. So, there you go. I've only ever seen real Yonko split the heavens. Whitebeard and Shanks, Kaido and Big Mom, Roger and Whitebeard, and now Luffy and Kaido. Never seen Blackbeard do it, just saying. So, that's my key. That's my way of distinguishing a true Emperor of the Sea. But that being the case, anyways, we move into the rest of the chapter. That's just my personal bias against Blackbeard. So, this being the case, a lot of people were like, whoa, Yamato really holding her own against Kaido and stuff. And in this chapter, we quickly see that she actually took a lot of damage from the Thunder Bagua, and saying that she thinks that she was really naive, thinking that she could guard the attack completely by herself. Like, even like we're seeing like the blood dripping down her head and stuff, and she's like, holy shit, like, you know, I might have been able to, like, stall the attack and maybe take some of the defense, but I wasn't able to block that shit completely. Similar to how Zoro could not block the combined attack of Big Mom and Kaido completely. Like, he was able to hold it for a little while, but in the end, he never would have fully blocked it had Law not intervened and stuff like that. So, Luffy tells Yamato to basically get on Momonosuke and stop this goddamn island. You need to give the sniveling snake a hand. And then, of course, Momonosuke, who are you calling sniveling? He's like, well, you're still here, aren't you? I just gave you a speech. Don't be afraid. It was epic. Did you not listen to me last chapter? And this is where Momonosuke does bring up a big point in saying, I know what I have to do, but it's not that simple to completely 180 somebody's fears and the personality just like in a snap of a finger for some flowery words. And I'm like, okay, Momonosuke he's got a good point. He's got a semi-good point there, but nonetheless, Yamato does jump on Momonosuke and says, all right, we got split up earlier. I'm sorry about that, Momonosuke, but let's go stop this thing. Now, this is where Kaido, in hybrid form, goes, you think I'm going to let you two get away? And he goes after them. Now, this is where Momonosuke is trying his best, like, I have to fly, and he's still holding on, like grip. He's holding onto the rocks, and he's trembling, and he's trying to just, like, get off the rocks. Like, he's holding on for dear life onto the edge of the cliff, and he knows he needs to fly. But unfortunately, he's a little too slow. Yamato manages to block Kaido's initial club, but then, thankfully, in comes Luffy. Rubber time! Boom! Hold it! And he's just like, alright, I'm going to pull your ass right off this dragon. And he's going to yank Kaido back down to the roof of Onigashima. Now, this is where Luffy says, now, Yamabro. I love how he calls him Yamabro. He calls Yamato Yamabro. Because it's hilarious, because he calls Yamato is still female, but referred to as a man, number one, because Kaido, the Shogun thing, and number two, because when she introduced herself, she says, I am Kazuki Oden, right? That kind of idea. And referred to herself as Kaido's son rather than daughter, etc., etc. It's going to be quite funny when Yamato officially joins the crew, which actually there is one other possibility that I don't want to think about, but technically Yamato could probably say, like, I really wanted to adventure with you, but I want to stay behind and help Lord Momonosuke rebuild Wano into its former glory and to protect it as my father should have. That kind of idea, make up for Kaido's mistakes, that kind of idea. I can see her staying behind in a Vivi sort of way, because Vivi, she stayed behind in Alabasta because duty, that was the point. She was going to leave, and then it was like, no. And then they left knowing that they couldn't keep her. They couldn't make her make that choice, so they left. I'm hoping that that's not the case. I can see it happening. Would it make sense? Yes. But I want Yamato to join the goddamn crew, so I want that so bad. So it's going to be funny interactions when we're going to constantly get this, like, Luffy's going to refer to Yamato as Yamabro, and Sanji's probably going to keep, or Nami, or somebody's going to keep smacking him. It's like, would you stop calling her a bro? She's a girl! Or something like that. Like, they're going to get angry with the... That's going to be just fun for comedy reasons, I feel. So I really hope she does join the crew for a multitude of reasons. She would add... Same with Jinbei coming in. Like, they add the dynamic of the comedy, the humor. There's just a lot there that would be a lot of fun. So, but anyway, she basically says... Yamato already knows what Luffy wants. Says, you want to take down Kaido 1v1, don't you? And Luffy just gives a stupid grin like, you know it. And then so Momonosuke starts falling off the island. They're falling and falling, and then this is where Yamato basically explains that dragons don't actually fly. They use the flame clouds as footholds. You summon the clouds and you bink, bink, bink. You basically walk on clouds sort of idea. And it's like, okay, so Yamato is encouraging Momonosuke, and they figure this out. And so Momonosuke's like, I'm flying. This is fantastic. They get away from the island, and they see that it's starting to crumble. Now, this is something that Tekking brought up in the last chapter review, or a discussion video. I'm not 100% sure where he brought this up, but I think it's relevant here because it was said, like, we need to see Kaido showing some weakness. He's been fighting all these battles, and sure, he's got some blood and he's beaten a little bit, and we've seen him take the attacks, but he doesn't seem to be any worse for wear. We need to see indications. We can't just have him and Luffy going to blows and then he knocks out Kaido and that's the end. That's not good. That would be horrible if that happened. Just a fist fight where Luffy wins at the end of this whole brawl. Nothing special happens. That's not good without showing that Kaido has been taking damage. He's been taking Conqueror's Haki hits. He took the hit. Remember, he took the Red Rock. He took hits from Yamato. He took the hit from Zoro that actually cut him. He took the attacks from the Red Scabbards with Oden's Haki still reminiscing through them. And then he took some other blows from Luffy himself. So at this point, and Momonosuke bit him and all this stuff. So there's been a lot of damage done to Kaido, but he seems to be unfazed. We need to see him phased. And right here, I think that Oda was listening because, boom, we're seeing that Onigashima is actually starting to crumble and fall apart. Yamato surmises that Kaido's powers are weakening, and we see this shot where he is beaten and bloody, and he's huffing and puffing. And he's like, so it's like, okay, this is good to see that Kaido's focus, he is actually, like, yeah, he's got the highest HP bar. Yeah, he's got the highest stamina bar, or the mana bar, whatever bar you want to use for your RPG system for Kaido. But even though it's Snorlax's stupid amount of health, it's going down slowly but surely. He might have a stupid amount of health, but the man doesn't have any full restores, and he hasn't been able to use rest. So he's going to be feeling this, and this is where Yamato is seeing this as a beacon of hope. And she's like, his flame clouds are unstable. That's why the island is crumbling and falling apart. He can't support the bedrock anymore. So this is fantastic. Now this is where Momonosuke and Yamato argue about basically what to do. They said, and of course they give that wonderful 5 minutes. I wonder if this is a real 5 minutes or a Frieza 5 minutes where Onigashima will be over the flower capital. We'll have to wait and see for that. But they argue about what's going to happen. Yamato basically says, or Momonosuke says that Luffy then needs to stop fighting Kaido because if Kaido's this distracted, he can't maintain the flame clouds. It's all going to fall. Yamato says, no, that's freaking stupid. What are you talking about? Luffy is putting everything on here. He's going to beat Kaido. That's his job. Your job, you can summon, if you've been able to walk on the flame clouds, you need to summon flame clouds yourself. Learn how to do it right now in this instant to save Wano, to save the place. You are going to use them. You're going to stop it. Or potentially, at first, everyone's thinking about stopping it. What if Momonosuke holds the flame clouds and just lets it keep going? Just pass right over the flower capital and go on the other side of Wano, then drop it back in the ocean. Because as stated here, there's enough gunpowder and shit on this island. It doesn't matter if it drops outside of the flower capital. It's going to go boom. They have no time to evacuate. They have no time for anything. So Momonosuke has to, pull himself up by his dragon scales, I guess, and grow some... the 7 Dragon Balls sort of idea. He's got to grow his own set of Dragon Balls here, and he's got to do this because when Luffy is tackling down against Kaido, Kaido is being so distracted, and as I said, his powers are weakening. You can look at this for a multitude of reasons, and a lot of reviewers are going to go into exactly what is happening to Kaido, but at the end of the day, it's exhaustion. He is not invincible with an infinite amount of stamina. He has been worn down, he's trying to do way too much, and he's been in constant battle over and over and over, and these are not weak battles that he's fought. So to beat Luffy, he's got to focus his power against Mr. I discovered how to use Conqueror's Hockey to kick your ass. He's not able to focus on the flame clouds anymore. So at this point, we need this. We need this to happen. So now, I really enjoy this section of it, actually, because it's basically showing the thing that we all need to see. Kaido is getting weaker. These blows have been damaging him. He's been shrugging it off. He's Kaido of the 100 Beasts. He's the strongest pirate in the world right now, supposedly highest bounty alive in the world and stuff like that. And he's the strongest living beast in the One Piece world. But after all this, he is getting weak. That HP bar is going down. So that's really, really cool. I'm really glad we got to see that. So that's really hype for a multitude of reasons for when Kaido is defeated. Now, that being said, we then jump over to King versus Zoro. Zoro ends up getting smacked right into Frankie. And even Frankie says, "Oh, you having trouble, Zoro? Or do you want to? Do you need a hand?" And Zoro's like, even though he just got slammed into Frankie, he's like, "No, I'm good. I think I got this. No, I'm good." Even though Zoro acknowledges, "Man, this guy's pretty strong." Now, Zoro is technically still beat up and probably not at 100%. You could argue that he's just not feeling pain right now. The drug is boosting him, but it's not boosting his strength. And I would argue that this Zoro is still running on fumes. He might be at 80%, maybe 90%. He's definitely not at 100% like a clean bill of health, let's do this sort of idea. I would argue that he's not, just because the drug is only a temporary fix, and I don't think it boosted him back to perfect bill of health. Let's go. But you guys let me know what you think. But either way, even though Zoro's like, man, that King guy, it's expected as the top commander of a Yonko, but man, he's pretty strong. Frankie, do you need help, Zoro? No, I'm good. Don't worry about it. It's all good. It's all good, man. It's like, okay. So Zoro's like, dude's a badass. That's okay. I'm a bigger badass. So, pretty cool. Now, King got some part of his helmet destroyed, and everyone's like, Pirate Hunter Zoro has cracked King's mask. So no wonder he's so pissed off. King said that he, apparently, according to Queen, he nearly slit Queen's throat, and King's just sort of like, it's a pity it didn't sort of idea. It's like, whoa, what the hell? I guess there's a little bit of animosity there. Now, that's the thing. No one has ever seen, apparently, King's real face. And we see King, just this doom, this boom, like this imposing stuff. So, Zoro tells Frankie to step back and go help somebody else. And this is where Zoro is about to tank a hybrid form King's attack with 3-sword style, Ultra Tiger Hunt. And boom, they take the blows come. The blows are still coming, but boom, King ends up pushing forward though nonetheless, jumping through all the rocks, all the rubble, everything goes down. Zoro manages to block it somewhat, but he's still bleeding at the stuff. So once again, I don't think Zoro's at 100%. He's just in a position where he can fight. And then he comes at him again to knock him right outside of the skull of Onigashima and right out into the water is what he's intending to do. And he's like, whoa, hang on. And so that Zoro realizes he's going to fall. He uses 2-sword style to basically downwards to boost himself back up. And they land sort of, it looks like they're landing almost on a section of the horn or the roof. So once again, the roof is quite large, so it looks like Zoro landed on a piece of the horn, or just a couple stages down from the actual roof of Onigashima. So it will be interesting if we see, I didn't expect Zoro to go back to the roof even though I wanted him to. If he defeats King, maybe he will witness and maybe help with the final blow against Kaido. Because I think here we're going to see Zoro beat King. I don't think there's any question there that Zoro's going to beat King. But he won't be in any shape to help against Kaido, except maybe for the final blow when Kaido's about to deliver the final smash to Luffy, and Luffy's just like, damn, just need a few more seconds for my haki or something, and Zoro just comes in, 1-sword style, boom, 1 slash to him, maybe he loses an arm from Kaido or something, and then Luffy is like, thanks Zoro, boom, and that's how they defeat Kaido. I don't know, but either way, this is where we see that King's mask has cracked. He seems to have, I'm assuming this is supposed to be like red skin or something like that. And he's got like this blondish, maybe white hair. Very, very interesting. Either way, Zoro basically says like, man, that was close, but not killing me with a blade? Come on, that's a little like, yeah, come on, what are you doing here? And, I'm going to like, kick your ass sort of idea, doing a Luffy thing, and King goes, the same goes for you, because we see the mask has been cracked and maybe potentially crumbling. So we're finally going to be able to see King's face, potentially, and I think that next chapter doesn't seem to be any break next week. So next chapter, we are going to probably see a full Zoro versus King fight for the majority. That's going to be hype as hell. Chapter 1028 incoming for that of One Piece. I don't know. I don't know what else to say, guys. There was a lot to talk about in this chapter, but I really enjoyed it. I hope you guys did too. I thought this was a really solid chapter, so let me know what you guys thought. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment, as always. And, of course, the fourth and most important part is to drink responsibly, as always. As your host with the most, Griever, always does. And we will see you, beautiful guys, back here again for the next piece of One Piece. When it comes out, chapter 1028, Inbound, Zoro versus King. Let's freaking go. Thanks, guys, so much for watching. We'll see you back here next time.